Olá, novos e seminovos, velhos e semivelhos. Eu sou o Eric Risato e este é o canal O Som do Cassete, com mais uma super entrevista ao vivo. Entrevista ao vivo são outros 500, né? Você participa, você pode mandar a sua pergunta através do chat, tá? E Nayasia já está aqui entre nós, isso. Nayasia que se apresenta, ou Nyasia também, ela atende bem. Ela se apresenta no Baile dos Sonhos, tá? Você já comprou seu ingresso? Não? Pois é, a gente vai bater um papo, falar sobre toda a carreira de Nyasia ou Nayasia e sua expectativa para o show, para o Baile dos Sonhos. Deixa seu like, se inscreva no canal, tá? E compartilha nos grupos. Tá aí no grupo de freestyle no WhatsApp ou mesmo no Facebook. Compartilha, chama a galera que vai ser uma festa maravilhosa. E eu vou parar de blá, 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 e já vou chamar logo ela, que tá maravilhosa, linda. How you doing, my dear? Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm in heaven now talking with you, dear. It's so good to listen, to see you. You're very well, beautiful. The time is so generous with you, Trinaire. What's the secret to keep the skin, your voice, keep feeling fine and well, and giving us this gift that is the concert that will happen in Brazil soon? How you
I
doing, dear?
think I think it's happiness, the joy, the love that you get. It shows. Back when you were younger, you thought you had to wear tons of makeup and a lot less clothing.
Ah,
But as you
yes.
grow older, you know that beauty is natural. So you try to get the best that you can out of it,
And you're
especially when
doing
you get older.
pretty well. You're doing
Thank you.
well. And tell me how to our audience how we pronounce your name.
Well, it's pronounced Nyasia,
Nice.
but when we went to Brazil for the first time, they were calling me Nyasia. So either way, whichever way feels comfortable for them. A lot of my friends call me Naya for short.
Naya.
Hmm.
Good. And you arrived in Brazil for the first time in 91 for
Yes.
do some concerts. And when you arrived in Brazil, did you know about did you notice about your success in here? Especially, do you know people calling you Nyasia? Do you
Hmm.
already heard it before? Or you heard Nyasia in Brazil?
I heard Nayasia in Brazil. I didn't know how big the song was in Brazil when I went in 1991. I wasn't expecting all that fandom and all that love. It took me by surprise, and I got a little scared in the beginning because I was like, "Oh my God, that's a lot of people."
Yes.
But um, once our translator told us that the song was very big, it was me and Tiana, and they said the song was very big. And when I performed it, and I heard them singing the song, I fell in love with Brazil. Like, that was it. Hands down, Brazil was number one for me.
Thank you, dear to accept our love. We do know how much we love you. And you returning to Brazil in November to do some concerts
Yes.
in Baile dos Sonhos. And so tell me more about your roots. Uh, your family, your roots is from Puerto Rico, right?
Um, kind of.
Kind of.
So I always thought I was 100% Puerto Rican. But no one's ever 100% of anything. So when I did the whole DNA testing, so I'm Spaniard, of course, from my mother's side, and I'm Puerto Rican from my father's side, but there's also Portuguese from my father's side, Portugal.
Oh, Portuguese too.
Yeah, so I was like, yay! I was like, yes, I'm Portugal. So yeah, and it's interesting when you do those DNA testings, uh, because you never know if it's really true what they say. But when I retrace my father's last name, it does go into Portuguese and Portugal and Belize. So I said, okay, I'll take it.
Can you speak Spanish or Portuguese?
I speak, write, and I can understand Spanish fluently as well as English. Portuguese, not so much. I can pick up words here and there, and if I practice saying something, I could do it. But to have a conversation like what you did in the beginning, I was
Nothing.
lost completely.
And the first time that you came to Brazil, how long do you stay in here doing some concerts?
When I went in 91, we were there for 2 weeks. We did 10
Two
shows.
weeks only.
Yeah, we did 10 shows in those 2 weeks.
Wow.
And it was very, very fast. Today's one show. This weekend you have 3 shows. And I was like, okay, it was my first time ever flying out, ever getting on the plane and flying
Oh,
out anywhere that far.
a good
So
experience.
yeah, it was the best experience of my career. And I held on to that for so long that when Stevie B reached out to me in 2019 and he said, we're going to go back to Brazil. And I was like, what? I said, oh my God, I can't wait. And when I went back the second time, I met 2 gentlemen that were at my first concert in 1991. And they went there. And I think one of them is online now, Alexander. And I've seen him here in Miami. I've seen him he's come down to see the shows. And oh, what a beautiful person, him and his wife. And it made me feel so wonderful to know that he was in the concert in 1991, and then he was in the second one, and then he bought tickets for this third one. So I can't wait. I can't
Good.
wait to go back.
And you will be waiting for you. And talking about your name, Nayasia,
Hmm.
because your real name is different. It's a beautiful
Hmm.
name too. But
Thank you.
where did the inspiration for your artistic name came
Hmm.
from? A tribute to a friend of yours is real. This history.
I was dancing for a friend of mine because he needed a dancer, which is Willie Valentine from Artistic Records.
Mhm.
I was his dancer. And they are the ones, him and Michael Berteau are the ones who wrote Now and Forever for me.
Yes.
So their manager was like, we need a dancer. Can you do us a favor? And I was like, yeah. So I danced for them for 6 months. And then they said, you need a different name because Blanca Iris isn't going to, get much attention. So I was like, all right, whatever. So then their manager had a friend, I believe, that had passed away from leukemia, and her name was
Yeah.
Nyasia. So he had it as a tribute to her, the corporation name, and he just told me to use it. So as Willie's dancers, whenever they would introduce me, they would say, "Oh, this is our dancer Nayasia," and it stuck. And when they did Now and Forever for me, the manager was like, "Just take the name. It's already yours. People already know you that way." So it's been my name, and then I added it to my real name. So now it's my name.
It's a beautiful tribute, and
Mhm.
it's a strong name. And
Yes,
this story is real. Good to know. And
yes.
talking about Willie Valentin and talking about Berto, and tell me more about this beginning. You record the first record that you record in your life was Now and Forever, was the first single. Tell me more about this experience in studio record.
Hmm. I was we were doing a big show, a Latin festival in New York City. And I was dancing for them, and someone came up to us afterwards and they said, do you sing? And I said, everyone knows the story. I said, I sing in the shower and I sing in church. That's about it.
Good.
And they said, well, you have the look, and we're looking for someone to manage, and we're looking for someone to represent as an artist. And then it said, then Michael was like, oh yeah, we'll get a song. We'll get the song ready. We'll have a song for her. And he did Now and Forever, but it wasn't called Now and Forever.
Hmm.
There was a piece of it that was missing. You guys hear the revised version of Now and Forever, but the original one, it was called With One Touch.
Oh, never was released.
No, I performed it like at little shows here at family, Sweet 16s and things like that. But when we gave it to Nelson Cruz, when they signed me up for Micmac and Nelson Cruz took it, he took out the chorus, which was With One Touch, and he kept Now and Forever. So Now and Forever became the chorus, and it worked beautifully. You know, it went well with it. But then last year, Willie and I and Michael got back together and we re-recorded Now and Forever, and we added the missing element. So
Oh,
when it
it's
gets
available
re-released, yeah,
in streams.
it's not yet. It's going to be on Artistic Records. You know, he was the beginning of Now and Forever, Willie Valentine and Michael Berteau, and I thought it was just fitting that when we recorded it, the song all over again, that he should take it and release it as one of his songs.
Good, we're waiting for it. And tell about the Who's Got Your Love? Was the second one or there's other one before?
No, Who's Got Your Love was the second song. By this time, I'm already signed on to Micmac, and I still think that it's, for lack of a better word, I still think that it was a joke. I can't be an artist. What? And I'm on a record label. And I was like, oh, I'm on the record label with Cynthia and Johnny O. Oh my God. Like it was a dream that I never had happening to me, if you can understand, you know? So when they said, okay, we're going to do Who's Got Your Love, and Wilfredo Castillo, I believe, he's going to kill me again because I always mess up his name. He wrote Who's Got Your Love, or he penned it in English, because then I found out later on that it's a Spanish ballad.
Oh,
It's called
it's different.
Quien Tiene Tu Amor. Yeah. So,
Oh,
yeah. So there's a lot of little stories behind the songs,
I
but
don't
yeah, we
know
came up.
about these stories.
So we came out with Who's Got Your Love, and then shortly after that, we did the first album on Micmac
The
Records.
first album, there's a lot of huge success. I'm the one that other
Mhm.
huge success too. Tell about this Do It, how it came, how it worked in that time. You invited the record label, put the two and the duets together. Tell me more about the
Mhm.
partners, the featuring of this
Yes.
single.
Um, I'm the one that was the third song that we released. Out of that first album, 7 songs were released as
Yes.
singles. So, and it was actually the only artist on that label that did that. But then David Torres was already on Micmac, and Mickey was like, "Oh, why don't you do this duet with him, Stronger Together?" And I was like, "Okay." I would say yes to everything back then. You know, I was like, I don't know anything about it, so yeah, okay, let's do it. And then George Anthony, who was a friend of mine, we came up at the same time. And when they said, "Let's do this duet, Take Me Away," when I heard it, I fell in love with the song, and I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone other than George, you know, because he's like a brother to me, and he just has such a phenomenal voice. So yeah, that was the duets, and then the rest of the songs came in. Two Time Lover, which is my husband's favorite, but he doesn't want me to sing it because it's about a cheating person. He goes, "That's not me, but I just love the way you sing the song." And so that producer, Mauro DeSante, it's been 32 years since we did Two Time Lover, and we just recorded a new song together. So that should be out hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah, and we will talk about your husband, but first I want to know what was your relationship with Mick Mac and Mike Garcia, how it was.
Hmm.
It was a good
And
relationship.
it was a good relationship. Again, when I first started, I didn't know anything about the music industry. And like I said, I was lucky to run into the people that I did at the time that I did. And I know some people are saying, it's not fair that, she went as far as she went, but that's not what she wanted to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think God works in mysterious ways because I wanted to be a police officer in New York City. So
Oh,
imagine.
no,
So
God.
God was like, no, you're going to be singing and it'll keep you safe. So, I did that. I signed up with Micmac. I was with them for 5 years.
Oh, long time.
And yeah, that was their contracts at the time. And we did the whole album. And then, after the 5 years, it was time to venture off into different things, you know.
Mm.
Um, but like I said, I didn't know anything about the music industry. So I was like, okay, we'll do this song. Okay, we'll do that song. Sure, whatever you want, I'll do.
Mick Mac was Mick Mac or Mick Mac?
Micmac. Mm-hmm.
Mick Mac. Mick Mac has a lot of huge artists, singer, because
Yeah.
Cynthia, you, Johnny O,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of others. And uh, after this time, you release some singles, but there's a time that you retire, that you jump off of the music industry or not. During all this time since you started, you never leave the music behind.
I never left. Um, I didn't get booked for too many shows back then because once the industry started to die, only certain artists were getting booked, and then I had my daughter. But I performed 6 months pregnant. Until I was 6 months pregnant, I was doing shows. So yeah, I never left. To me, at the time, to me, it was a part of my life, and you don't leave parts of your life. It just happens. It's like you work at a job and then it doesn't work out, so then you move on to another job. So for me, I did the 5 years of Micmac, and I did shows, and did to Brazil, and I was okay if I didn't perform anymore because I had my big moment, which was touring in Brazil. So I was like, okay, if it doesn't happen anymore, at least I have my first album, and I went international, and I'm good. But then
You
this
enter
show
in the
started.
Billboard.
Yes, I was on Billboard, which is a lot of things that people don't know. When they categorize me as a B artist, um, yeah, I've had 7 singles from my first album. I was on Billboard. It wasn't at the top 10, but I was on Billboard. Um, I crossed over to pop with "Who's Got Your Love" in San Jose, California. So, there's a lot of things that go behind it that a lot of people don't know because they don't do the research. So they just
Mhm.
rather say, oh, well, if this person isn't getting booked three times in one weekend, then, they're not considered a top tier artist.
Mhm.
But I say, well, I've been to Brazil and that's better.
Uh,
So,
was
yeah,
so
so,
beautiful.
that's how it goes.
And talking about all these singles, and especially the debut album, there's no video clip, there's no video for "Who's Got Your Love" or "Now and Forever" or "Record," and we lost in time.
Yeah. So when I signed on with Micmac, freestyle was already going down in America, in the radio stations. They weren't playing it as much. So the first time I went to record the video of "Now and Forever," um, my manager, I don't know what happened with the photographer, the videographer, but it just they never finished the video. So I never saw
Oh.
anything of it. I never saw any clips or nothing. And then, when you're marketing yourself and you're not on a label anymore and you don't have the backing, it's hard to do things on your own. And at the
Mhm.
time, I was a single mother. And I said, you know what? My kids are more important than trying to put a video together. So I focused on that. And then Who's Got Your Love came out, and nothing was done with that either. And then we tried again to do a video for Now and Forever, say maybe 5, 6 years ago. And again, I don't know what happened with that. It was like it wasn't meant to be to have a video for Now and Forever because it would never
Maybe,
be completed. Yeah.
yeah.
So then that didn't come through.
Maybe this video
So
you
yeah.
will
So
record in Brazil, in the beach, in
yeah.
the
Who
favela,
knows? Well,
something like that.
we started a video for Now and Forever this year. So we're hoping that
Ah,
it will be done by the end of the year. At this point,
please.
yeah, let's hope. At this point, Now and Forever is like what, 32, 33 years old. So my husband was like, instead of making an elaborate video with a lot of props and things, I want, let's make a fun video. Like
Good.
people that are involved in it, the people that were there, your family, your friends that were there from beginning to now. So it's going to be one of those videos, a fun video to go with the song as an appreciation to my fans and the people that were always supporting me.
Yes, we need this. We miss this official video. Please
Yes,
release this.
definitely. Definitely.
And there's a lot of people chatting with us in the chat. And Nilson Lima is asking, there's an answer, there's a question. Nyasia or Nayasia, uh, you could you sing with the Brazilian artist or Brazilian band doing some duets with the Brazilian singer?
Oh, I would love to. I would
And do you
love to. Yeah.
know Brazilian music, some stuff?
Um, it's uh it's funny, when I went in 1991, there was a song, and I don't know who sings it. And I was mentioning it to Stevie, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I know what song that is," but I don't know the title to the song. And I know that it says "Llora por mí, no llore por él," something like that. It was a ballad. Piensa en mí, llora por
Chore
mí,
por
da,
mim,
da, da, la 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 la. And I
Leandro
was
e
like,
Leonardo.
oh, I loved it. I loved it. And I learned it while I was there. And I just kept singing it all around the house. And then a few months ago, I was, going through my Spotify, and I heard this one song. Um, I think I think her name is Alice or Lucy. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad with names.
Alice
But
KM.
yes,
Yes, this singer is a huge
yes.
singer, and the family, the whole family is singer too. They are so popular, traditional family of singers
Oh,
in Brazil.
I heard her song. What's it called? Loca. Dicen que
Yes,
soy loca. And I was like, oh my God, I love the melody. I love the way she sounds. So I listen to her a lot.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, good stuff in Brazil,
Hmm.
and a good Leandro Leonardo, the first one.
Hmm.
Pensa em mim, Yore por mim, and the second one, Alice KM.
Yes.
And talking about the freestyle style, and there's someone that you really want to do some duet in some with some singer or some band that used to make success with you, was contemporary. I don't know, I sorry the word,
No,
but
it's
that
okay.
used to live with you. There's one that you really want to do to work with. There's some singer or producer that you don't have this chance maybe in the
Hmm.
future.
Well, I've always wanted to work with Chris Barbosa. He doesn't produce anymore, but he did such phenomenal work that will live on forever with his music, with the stuff that he did. Um, I did two duets with George Anthony. Um, I am working on a duet with one of my best friends, Sapphire.
Oh,
who, yeah, she has always been one of my favorites even before we became friends. And to get the opportunity to work with her and her husband for their new label is phenomenal. And I know Trinier is also working on new stuff with them for the label. So it's just going to be so phenomenal when it comes out, like the different types of music. Yeah, and I like doing different stuff. I like, the only thing I don't do, and people always tell me, why don't you do Spanish music? I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't had the opportunity yet.
yeah, yet, but maybe in the
Yet.
future. And talking about when you was in Brazil, do you make some concert in Brazil in the past? Stomp DJ, it's talking that when you visit Brazil in São Cristóvão, Imperial, do you remember this place, Imperial, São
Oh.
Cristóvão?
Was that in
Was
1991?
yes,
Okay.
the first term. He has 16 years that time,
Hmm.
and was incredible. You performed beside Tiana,
Hmm.
and 2019,
Hmm.
uh, he went there and watch your concert, and
Hmm.
will be again uh, 14
On the
13 of
14th?
November 13
Okay.
in your concert. He can wait to see you again singing. And talking about your concert,
Hmm.
talk about your show. There's something new. What the audience can expect from your concert in Baile dos Sonhos.
Well, when I went the last time, I don't think uh, I don't think Time was done. Time and Walk Away. Those two, my two latest songs were not recorded at the time. Um, I am going to be doing. I don't usually do Take Me Away because George Anthony isn't always with me, but I will be doing it this tour
Good.
in a different way. So
Oh,
I did add that to it. And
DJ Johnny BH, Nayasia, and George Anthony. Take Me Away was a good one. Brazil loved this track.
yes, I love the song, especially in the beginning when it starts. My songs uh, are pretty. The music is pretty. It has a lot of violins and the pianos. Um, so that's kind of like what producers are know me for. So when they go to do a song, they go and they bring me a pretty song, and sometimes I'm like, well, can it be a little harder? Can we pretend you're writing a song for a man? You have all these hard beats. Let's try to do something like that, but it never comes out that way.
I get you. And talking about your husband, you when and and how DJ Paradise appears in your life. Tell me more about
Yes.
this long relationship and beautiful
Yes.
relationship.
We've been together now 19 years, thank God. um, I met him online. He had done a major edit mix of Sapphire. And when
Mm.
I heard it, I didn't know him. When I heard it, I was like, oh my God, you did an edit mix of my favorite artist. So I messaged him and I was like, oh my God, could you do something like that for my songs? And he did. And we were friends for a year. Um, we were good friends. He was road managing me. We were both in bad relationships and trying to get away from it. Uh, but we were friends for a whole year before we got together. And I think it's a good thing when you are involved in a relationship with someone that is also part of the industry, because they can understand you know, when you're busy. They understand when you're upset, when you're happy. They, you know, they go through the same thing, and you don't have to explain yourself too hard, because sometimes it's hard when you're with someone who's not part of the industry, and they're like, you know, why do you fly away so much, and why are these people always messaging you, and why do you, you know, it's no, you're better off with someone who knows what you're talking about. And that's him.
And he support you. You work together with him.
Yes.
He released the second album. He was he was working with you. He
Hmm.
produced you. Tell me more about this
He,
musical relationship.
yes, he was actually the reason, he brought me back out into performing. Um, and he's the one that kind of like made me record the second album. We had a lot of friends who wanted to write for us for that album, so that was great. Um, and he, you know, he pushed for it, and I did it. And it wasn't an album for, it wasn't an album to go and get rich from. You know, it was an album that I wanted to do to the fans so they can see, oh, she's still here. You know, she's still performing, she's still recording. So I did that. Um, you know, and I love some of the songs that are on there. And actually, there are two songs on there that I actually wrote myself. It was the first time that I wrote. So it was for that album. So yeah,
He
that's how
always
that started.
supporting you, and he make part of your life and your career. It's good to have a partner, uh, a relationship that support
Yes.
you all the time. Is a good and a big hug to DJ Paradise. Paradise.
Yes. he he
Please.
had a big following. He had big fans because he's a DJ for so many years. He started
Yes.
DJing when he was like 14. So he has a big following when he had his radio station online. So I kind of like became a fan of his while he was a fan of mine.
I get. I know.
Hmm.
And freestyle is asking about the Tiana. Do you have contact? Still, do you still have contact with Tiana or not? Do you have
I don't
notice about her?
know. The last time I spoke to Tiana, we were talking about doing another tour in Brazil. Um, and we were trying to get in contact with the people that had brought us down in 1991, but it didn't work out. I know she appeared in some of the shows backstage because I saw pictures of her. But yeah, we don't keep in contact like that. She moved away. She moved away from the industry, and I think she's trying to come back, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
And about your point of view, tell me more. What you think? What your expectation or the way you feel the freestyle from that is being released now. Tell me about the real scene, especially in New York. Uh, people are people is working in some new stuff, or people really want the old school music. Tell me about the freestyle now in your point of view.
In my point of view, and I have a big point of view. um, it's it's difficult to say because you have 30 years or 30 plus years of people singing the songs that actually made history in freestyle. You know, you have your Sapphires, you have your TKs, your Cynthia, and then and all those going down the line. And a lot of the people that go to these concerts are our age. So all they want to hear is the old stuff that gave them all these memories. So when you record new stuff, like a lot of us have, uh, it kind of gets unnoticed. And some of them will listen to it and they're like, "Oh, that's cool," but you know, let me hear Now and Forever. So you give them what they want, you know. Um, with the new school or the freestyles that's recorded now with new artists, um, I've heard a lot of good stuff, like really good stuff. My good friend Jenny Renee, she's got an album coming out, and it's amazing. She wrote the songs herself. She's a tremendous writer. The songs are great. Um, you have Mia, who can go in any direction. You know, sometimes I think she shouldn't even be performing at freestyle shows because she's gone beyond that with her performance. Um, there's a lot of stuff that I've heard that I think, I don't know, everyone deserves their 15 minutes of fame, right? We've all gone there. We've all gotten our 15 minutes, and some of us have gotten 15 years of fame or more. But we put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. You know, we did all these shows. We did promo shows for the radio stations. We did, you know, everything that was. If they say, "Oh, this is your first show, you're only going to get $500." Okay, how many? Some of us went a couple of months getting only $500 until it started going up. But I've heard some of the new people now that want, like, you know, $3,000 to perform, and it's like, well, you can't do that. You know, you got to start the way everyone else started. So I think that's where the division is, with the new people coming in now, and with the older ones. But, you know, I guess people are gonna. There's always shortcuts in life, and people are gonna try to do it. I think everyone deserves a chance, whether it sounds good or not. Because what may not sound good to me might sound good to you. You know,
Mhm.
it's an opinion. Everyone has one, and you know, it's a good thing.
It's hard to to do some success uh, with the new school. I think people really want the old school, and you make
Mhm.
part of it. And like you told before, you release in the perfect time.
Mhm.
You make your concert in the perfect time. You're still alive doing concert and still alive in our hearts. And talking about the this movement, I can see. I don't know. I'm living in Brazil and you live in New York, this area. That freestyle is so alive. It's still alive, right?
Mhm. In New York, well, now I live in Florida, but I come from New York. So New York is always going to be uh, uh, busy with shows. You know, you have a very prominent promoter, Sal Abatello for Fever Music, and he is going to promote, you know, TK and Cynthia, you know, Judy, the ones you see on the flyers every weekend, and because people want to see that. And New York City, what better place? You know, New York City is
Mhm.
like Brazil, always alive, awake. You know,
Mhm.
and it's a party place. So as long as there are people that wanting to party and there are artists that want to party, this freestyle shows are going to be all over the place. Florida is a little different. Florida is more laid back. Uh, I know it's been picking up with shows in Miami and in Orlando, but it's pretty laid back compared to New York.
I got you. And the DJ, Gilson Vélez, Linda, beautiful. I had all your singles, all your tracks, and I know that you got a website that you still selling some CDs,
Yes.
vinyl, and some promotional stuff. Do
Hmm.
you send to Brazil? And when you arrive in Brazil, you will bring some cups to sell. Tell me more about the how we get a new cup, a new vinyl or CD, and
Hmm.
you will bring with you because you know there's a lot of collectors in
Hmm.
Brazil.
Yes. So we do ship to Brazil. It takes a long time to get there. We had sent something to our friend Alexander out there in Brazil, and it came back to us like 4 months later. And we were like, oh, wow. Okay. So, but you can, whatever you need to order from the merch on my website will get shipped directly to you in Brazil. As far
Good.
as what we're bringing, merchandise, I'm not 100% sure of what we're physically bringing, because I'm still, if I turn the camera around, you would see, one suitcase has all the outfits, the other suitcase has the
Uh,
shoes, the
mhm.
merchandise is all over the place because we haven't put everything in order yet. So we're still in the packing phase for next weekend. It's so exciting. But yeah, anything you needed ordered, cups and stuff like that, you can order from the merchandise itself, and it would get from the website, and it would get sent directly to you.
Então, galera, vocês podem entrar no site da Nayasia, is www.nayasia.com.
NyasiaMusic.net.
.net. Good. And vocês podem comprar, então, vinil, tem também pendrives, tem camisetas, tem muitas coisas na loja, no site da Nyasia. And Nayasia, what are the future projects? Do you have a new album to release, right? You work in the studio. Tell me more about the future projects.
So I have my final album.
Final? No. What more?
At the at the time when I thought about really retiring, I meant retiring from recording, because at this point we all know freestyle's not going to get on the radio the way it did back in the 80s, early 90s. So at this point, you're recording songs because you like it, and just so that the fans can hear new stuff. So this was supposed to be my last album, and we're finishing up some last minute songs to put on it before it gets released early next year. And with that, going to have more videos to go with the songs, because now it's easy to do a video and it's not as expensive as it was back then. Now you get, like my phone right now, it goes to 4K and I could do my own video. I just don't know how. So, I'm working on a few things right now and trying to get through the rest of the shows for this year and then the ones for next year, and then we'll see what happens from then.
Good. We're waiting for it, for this release.
And I'll do a song with a Brazilian artist, so don't give up on me.
Sorry.
I said, the guy who asked if I would do songs in Brazil or with a Brazilian artist.
Yeah, there's a lot of artists and there's a lot of DJ that want to remix your songs.
Yes.
Please send us the a cappella we do some new remix, because Brazil, we love to do some remix, some new production.
Yes, I've heard some stuff. It sounds really good.
Yes, especially of the old school, bring it a new, fresh style. And we love your stuff. And thank you for everything that you did and you're still doing for us. And talking about return to Brazil, when you arrive in Brazil and how long you will stay in here these years in November, and you will return after that. There's something scheduled to Brazil to the next year. Tell more about your concerts.
So when we went to Brazil the second time, in 2019 with Stevie, he said, "Oh, I'm going to bring you guys back," and I was like, "Okay," I didn't think it was going to happen, and not that I didn't believe him. I'm just, things always happen. So, and then when he reached out, he was like, "Okay, are you available this day, that day?" And I was like, "Oh my God, we're going back." And I'm going back with my friend Samuel and all these other artists, Janier and Freestyle, and back with Joey from Lanier and Ray Gell and all these people, and Peter Fontaine, who I've known for 30 something years. And it's just, it's amazing that we're going back. So we get there on the 11th, I believe. And then we return on the 20th, 21st.
Good. But I hope you have time to take some caipirinha, try caipirinha. I don't know if you tried before.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I went to a Spanish restaurant here in Florida, and they had caipirinha on the menu. And I said, can I have one of those, please? And she goes, do you know what this is? I said, yeah, I drank it the whole time I was in Brazil. And yeah, I love that drink.
And in social media, you can see the love of your fans, Brazilian fans. Tell me more about the relationship with your Brazilian fans and your relationship in Brazil. What was the point, the thing that you never will forget about our country when you visit? Tell me more about your relationship in Brazil and what do you like in Brazil?
So when I first went there, like I told you, I wasn't expecting to feel all that love. And I remembered my dancers and my manager with our bodyguards. We have bodyguards. And I was like, oh, I want to go shopping. And they were like, well, now is not a good time because everyone's sleeping or taking, resting. Or I was like, what do you mean? It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. And they're like, well, you ever heard of siesta? And I was like, oh, that's a real thing? I had no idea. So, we're walking the streets and it was real quiet. And the promoter, Renee, he said, no, it's better to go now because the fans are not around. And you could see more. So we went to the Corcovado, the Jesus the Redeemer.
Yes.
But I have a fear. It's a huge fear. I have a phobia of big statues.
Oh,
I have like
never heard before.
I have a paralyzing fear of big statues. So they had to blindfold me to get me to the top and then take off the blindfold so we can take a picture and then put it back on so I could go.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, but I want to take my husband this time. I want him to see it, like not just in a picture. I want him to see the real thing and for him to. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
It's warm. The times I've been there, it's been warm. The beaches are. You feel like you're transported to a different time, not just a different country, but a different time. It's like you let go of all the stress that you're bringing onto the plane the minute you get off and you see all those mountains. When you're driving down and you see all those mountains, it's like, when you drive down Florida, you see palm trees. You go to Brazil, you see huge mountains. It's an amazing thing. It's such a beautiful country. And I'm proud to say that it's a Latin country, that it's part of me, for Latinos all around the world. You go to all these Latin countries and you see the beauty, the greenery of it. And that's what sticks to you, especially when when you're raised in New York City, like I was. Concrete buildings. If you saw a tree on your block, it was surprising.
Always gray.
Yeah,
in Brazil,
it's cold and the snow.
Especially in Rio, it's a different landscape. It's something made by God, something I can ascribe to.
Yes,
I know how you feel when I went there.
The naturalness.
This way.
Yeah, it's amazing to see, but to see it as an artist and to see the love that you get are getting back, you can't help but feel an attachment. When you leave, it's like you feel like you're leaving your family behind, you're leaving your friends. And then, you get to know them online and they're like, oh yeah, I went to a show. I was like, oh yeah. And then they'll show me the picture that we took together. And I was like, oh, I remember. And I remember the conversation that we had. And so now I have a new friend. Now I have somebody else in my memory and in my heart from when I went. So I've always told people, since I went the first time in 91, I have always told people that what has always been the highlight of my entire career was going there. And I'll go to different places. I'll go to, I went to Germany. But like I said, it's magical to me.
Yeah, thank you, dear.
Yeah.
You told about René Christovan Neumann.
Renee Michel from
Michelle,
Spotlight Entertainment
yes,
back then.
yes, and
Yeah, we
Christovan
had,
Neumann, Kaká,
and yes, DJ
Kaká,
Kaka. Yeah. So
yeah.
okay, so DJ Kaka is so funny, and his wife.
He's
Oh
he's living in USA now. He's living in
no!
USA, I think. Kakash,
Oh
I
my
think
gosh,
he's
he
living
was
in some
such
place.
a wonderful person. And his
Yeah.
wife, oh my God, at the time, I don't know if they're together or not, but she was, oh, I loved her. So when he told us his name, Kaka,
Uh-huh.
I I was like, what did you just say? Your name is Kaka? And he said, no, Kaka. I said, Kaka. He said, Kaka. And I was like, oh,
I
because
know.
you know what it
I
means to
get you.
us. So I was just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But he was a wonderful person. Everyone that we met, from the translator, my bodyguard, Marco, he was awesome. Renee and the whole crew was just fantastic. And then when we went in 2019 with Stevie, and he had his crew and phenomenal people as well. And I hope to see them when we go back this time.
Yes, I hope so. And Gerson Gomes da Silva Gomes, and Nayasia is in my life since when I was young. I was always dancing the dance floor. He's single, and send me a kiss. Gerson Gomes de Teresina, Piauí, send a kiss for him and Nayasia. He's a huge fan of
Thank you
your
so much.
work.
Thank you.
And talking about the your reference about the inspiration, artists that used to listen, artists that was important to your career, especially to
Mhm.
inspire you, which singers or band you can pick?
So, um, I love a lot of different music. Um, I listen to a lot of rock music. Um, I listen to a lot of classical music. So when I was a little girl, I used to love to watch Cher.
Share.
So she was my favorite. Cher and Pat Benatar. Those are my two favorite rockeras, and I was like, yes. Then I got to see them in concert, and I remember how I felt when I was a little girl, when I would just try to dress like them and try to sing like them, and um, they're always going to be my favorites. So as far as an inspiration, because I never intended to have a singing career, um, I can't pinpoint anyone that I could say, oh, they inspired me to sing. I could just
Mhm.
say that growing up, I loved music and listening to Cher and Pat Benatar and a lot of strong women singers, Tina Turner, Melissa Etheridge, uh, Lizzie from Hailstorm, which is a rock band from now, uh, Shakira. It's just different sounds, but all strong women.
Yeah,
And
good reference.
that to me, being a strong woman means a lot, because women are women, and in a lot of places they get looked down on, or they don't get the same accolades. So when I see a strong woman go out there and perform and sing and does it just as good as any guy, to me, I'm like, yeah, you're my idol.
There's other that I love that I don't know is strongest you in New York, is USA, but when I think about Latin style and Latin roots, Gloria Stefan that came from
Yes, yes,
Cuba, né? Is
yes,
a good
Cuban.
one. I love
I
this one.
remember when I went to Brazil in 1991, I did a radio station interview, and I can't remember the radio station, but I have a picture of it. And he called me the Gloria Stefan of Brazil. And I was like, wow, that's a compliment.
Yes,
I'll take
it's a
it.
good.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I admire her a lot, what she's been through when she's gone. And, you know, it's not easy for women as it is, but when you're a woman of ethnicity, it gets doubly hard.
Because you used to
So
live in Miami too, not
yes,
good.
yeah.
Miami made
Mhm.
I don't know, but it's a beautiful place
Oh yeah.
and beautiful artists, big huge artists came from Miami.
Yes. Yes.
And
Miami is like Brazil to me.
I,
You know, all the lights and all the party people out, and it's just like, you know, it's a smaller New York City.
good. And I know that it's a hard question, but do you have a favorite one in your discography, a favorite music, a favorite track that is mean a lot to you? There's one that you can choose.
Yes. I'm always going to go back to Now and Forever. One, because it was the first song I ever did. Two, um, the number of people that I have met that had named their daughter after me, uh, and that only happened because of that song, Now and Forever. I think it's a beautiful song. I think the words are beautiful. If you stop to listen to the words and just take the music away, you know, it's hard for someone to have a partner that's going to be with them forever. You know, you hope to find someone that's going to be there for you forever. So when you hear the words, you know, baby, now and forever, won't you stay with me always? You know, that's deep, because, you know, it doesn't happen a lot. So if you
This
have that, that's fantastic.
there's something magical in this song because the high notes and the way the chords and the beat and the orchestra in the beginning.
Yes,
Still, when I listen in the dance floor, I feel my body shivering.
yes,
Uh, Down my spine, something different, something crazy, something magical. Is a classic, is an evergreen song. And thank you for sharing it with us, sing this song, because it's a beautiful story behind all your career, especially Now and Forever. And for me, Now and Forever is my
yes.
favorite one. I love your work,
Hmm.
all your body work, but now in forever is something magical in their song. Thank you, the composer, the Willie.
Hmm.
Willie
Willie and
write
Michael
the song.
Berto.
Yeah, was something incredible. And keep on singing now and forever and all your stuff. And I really want to request if you can sing for us a little piece of Now and Forever a cappella to fill us with your voice, especially with this song.
Okay, so let me throw this drive. Okay. Baby, now and forever, won't you stay with me always? You're the one that gives one touch and I can't let go. Hope you like it.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. And you can hear, you can see, you can watch it live in the Baile dos Sonhos. And Nayasia will be here in Brazil in November, January too.
Yes, January
January.
3rd or
Yes.
13th? January 13th,
Mm,
yes.
Yes, and leave a message for your Brazilian fans that support you during all this time and will keep doing it.
Yes, to all my fans worldwide, but especially in Brazil, thank you for all the love that I felt from you. Like, I really felt it. Um, you made me cry the last time I was there because of all the love that I felt when I was on stage. Thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for loving me, because I feel the same way. I feel like we're connected. I feel like I went to Brazil the first time and it was going to be a forever thing. So thank you so much for welcoming me into your home, into your cars, into your headphones, wherever you listen to the music. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I cannot wait to go back to Brazil. And I hope that I can continue to go there and give you guys, show you the love that I feel for you as well.
Thank you, my dear.
Obrigado.
Obrigado, muito obrigado. I hope to see you in stage. I will work for it, and we will always welcome. Please return to Brazil. Come to Brazil when you want to visit, to play, to
Yes,
sing, and I hope you enjoy
yes.
Brazil.
Oh, I
And
will.
thank you for everything that you did. You keep on doing. Thank you to accept this interview and to talk with you, my dear. I love you and I love your
Thank you.
stuff. I love your music. Keep on doing this
Thank you, Eric.
magical job. Okay,
Thank
dear?
you. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank you, dear. See you soon. Bye bye
Hey, guys.
and enjoy Brazil.
Thank you.
Bye bye, dear.
Bye.
Então foi isso, galera. Não tem nem palavras, né? Nyasia, Nayasia, maravilhosa, uma voz de anjo. Vai estar no Brasil, presenteando os fãs, presenteando o movimento freestyle. E você está presenteando, tá aí dando suporte, tá apoiando, deixou o like, compartilhou. Compartilhe aí nas suas redes sociais, compartilhe nos grupos o trabalho do Som do Cassete. Seja membro, compre sua t-shirt. As t-shirt é do canal Som do Cassete. Tem várias outras lá. Agradecer ao pessoal do Baile dos Sonhos por essa parceria maravilhosa. Quero sim estar presente, quero acompanhar tudo isso. Estou muito feliz por essa movimentação. Obrigado, Steve B, todos os promotores, todos os sócios, os agentes e especialmente os artistas, né, por abraçar o freestyle, abraçar o Brasil, né, especialmente. Gente, então é isso. Deixa o like, compartilha. Seja membro, pode mandar um pixinho aí também. Enfim, o que importa é você apoiar o Som do Cassete. Tem outras entrevistas, tá? Vai demorar um pouquinho para ser geradas legendas, vai ter legenda automática, mas é isso. Acho que muita coisa dá para sentir, o que dá para sentir que Nyasia, ela tem um carinho especial pelo Brasil e vice-versa, né? Indica o canal aí, ajude o canal a crescer. Abração para o Jefferson Cavalcante, o DJ Johnny de BH, o Valmir e todos da de BH, meus parceiros, DJ Plaza. Enfim, é isso, galera. Eu fico por aqui. Lembrando que quinta-feira que vem temos encontro marcado, 7 horas da noite, aqui no canal Som do Cassete, com o programa Som do Cassete, transmitido para todo o Brasil. E qualquer momento você pode entrar aqui no canal Som do Cassete e ficar sabendo por onde anda outros artistas. E se você quer saber mais sobre a cantora Nayasia, ou Nyasia, você fica aqui no canal, porque tem um vídeo que eu falei detalhes, né? Destaquei os singles. Se você não conhece muito o trabalho dela ou quer conhecer melhor, então fica aí a dica. Open Mix, DJ Weldon, manda um abraço para Brasília, abração para Brasília, abração para todos, abração para Rose Jesus, abração para o José, Santiago, Breno, Eduardo, todo mundo que está aí sempre, né, dando esse apoio. Então, fica a dica aí. Deixa o like, compartilha aí nas suas redes sociais, nos grupos, para ter mais entrevistas maravilhosas como essa, tá? E em breve vai ter legenda automática, depois vocês adicionam e depois dá uma traduzida. Tem como traduzir no próprio YouTube. Tem entrevista com a Trineri, o Trinier, tem entrevista com o Heigel, o Steve B, galera que gosta de Eurodance também, tem muita coisa aqui. Então, apoiem o canal Som do Cassete e o trabalho que a gente faz, tá? Gente, então é isso. Boa sexta-feira para todos, ótimo final de semana. E tchau, tchau. Até mais.